Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Almost Game Day. As always, I'm your host, Sean Green. Thank you for watching this week. I really appreciate it. As you guys know, last episode, at the very end, I said 2 shows would be moving to the studio here at the Nicholson School of Communication, with my show being one of them. And I'm so grateful to all the staff, the students, everybody here at Nicholson School that does everything to keep all of us safe so that we can come in the studio and do these shows and make them as high quality as possible. Last semester, it was crazy. Like I said, we were doing most of the shows from my house, makeshift green screen. It was a pretty crazy experience. A lot of hard work went into it. We're just so grateful that now we can come into the studio and make everything a little bit easier. Not everything's so easy still, but we're still working through some kinks and we're going to get there. But with that being said, it's been a crazy week for UCF football. UCF Athletics in general. I haven't remembered a week like this since like 2015. So let's just get right into it. Many of you probably already know Danny White, now the AD over at Tennessee. He took a job offer with the SEC about a week ago. Many UCF fans love Danny White. You talk to any UCF football fan or athletics in general, and they'll tell you Danny White is the reason that UCF is where it is today. He put UCF on the map. So to lose him to Tennessee is a real bittersweet type of moment. But then the bombshell dropped that Josh Heupel would now be leaving UCF. And that was kind of a name that was thrown out kind of late Tuesday. He wasn't really a name that they were looking into. There was about 4 head coaches that they were looking at. But it seems like nobody wanted the Tennessee job, which with all the investigations and stuff that they're going through, if I was a head coach, I wouldn't want to go there either. So Danny White gets his coach that he's worked with for 3 years to come to Tennessee. UCF fans are rejoicing on Twitter. I haven't seen one bad comment about Josh Heupel, and I think that speaks to the type of coach that Josh Heupel is. He's got, I would say, about 5 plays in his offensive playbook, and you saw right after when it got announced, his players took to Twitter and were really bashing him. It was really incredible to see because usually when Scott Frost left, not one UCF player talked badly about Scott Frost. The man was crying to his team right after the championship game, just thanking them for everything they've done. So to have your quarterback, Dillon Gabriel, one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the nation, go on social media and say, wow, no phone call, nothing? All right. That says a lot about a coach. So congratulations to Tennessee for getting them. But to me, it just seems like not the best hire. They hired him for 4 years. Tennessee most likely is going to get out of, bowl game contention because of all the scandals that they're going on within the organization. So, the real question, who's going to take over? Who's going to be the new AD? Who's going to be the new head coach? Well, the AD is going to be responsible. When I'm looking at a list of potential ADs, I think there's a couple that you can look at. To be honest, my pick, Scott Carr. Get somebody within UCF that's worked with Danny White that can go get a head coach that he knows will fit the system of UCF football. You fans like the offense UCF runs. Well, guess what? If we go get an outside AD, he might hire an outside head coach that really is not going to run that offense that makes UCF unique. Another option, Graham Neff. Clemson. He's a Clemson deputy athletic director. Go get a guy from a Power 5 school that can come in here and knows ways to win, knows how to hire big-time head coaches. Those are my top 2 right now. Then, for head coaching candidates, there's only a couple that UCF fans should really want or know. Number 1 is Jeff Lebby, Ole Miss offensive coordinator. He worked under both Scott Frost and Josh Heupel. He worked with both Mackenzie Milton and Dillon Gabriel. Jeff Lebby knows the type of system UCF runs. That would be the best and cleanest transition over to a new UCF football. You have another option, Barry Odom. A lot of people are kind of sleeping on Barry Odom. He was the Missouri head coach when Josh Heupel was there, and plus, Barry Odom's now the defensive coordinator at Arkansas. If you want to go more defense and hire a young stud as an offensive coordinator, that can be an option. Now, there's been some rumors about Hugh Jackson wanting to take this job. UCF fans should run and hide if he becomes the head coach. Any coach that does not win a football game in the NFL, just at least one, I don't think we should be wanting him to be our head coach over at UCF. And then Gus Malzahn, former Auburn coach, listen, he's got the experience. I think UCF could probably use that right now in a coach and not get a guy that might want to leave in 3 to 4 years. So those are my first initial thoughts on AD head coaching potential for UCF. But I want to bring somebody in that knows college football more than a lot of people here at HTF, and that's Kelly Campbell. Kelly, thank you so much for coming on Almost Game Day. I really appreciate it.
Of course. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I would be better if UCF actually had a head coach and athletic director, but that's what we're going to talk about. So
Right.
Kelly, you know college football. You know all of the, potential hires, all that stuff. My one question, I really am interested to see who you know and who you think could be an athletic director here at UCF. Who are your top candidates that you could see being a good fit?
Honestly, I say we keep it in the family. Danny White just so happens to have a younger brother who's the AD at FAU. Personally, I used to go to FAU, so I was a student there, and the way they ran the athletics department was almost flawless. Everything was very organized, everything was nice. They just put in a new facility for the football team at campus. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful, and I think he handled COVID extremely well at FAU, and I think he's ready for the next challenge. And what better than to have your brother, who used to be the AD here, he's right there. He'll be a mentor for you, and I think it would be super successful.
That is true. I don't think a lot of UCF fans really think about that. They think, oh, we're just losing Danny White. But to go get another White brother to come in here, that would be pretty incredible. What do you think, honestly, about Scott Carr? Hiring from within the UCF organization, because, like I said, if you hire an outside athletic director, that could probably change the culture of UCF, no?
Right, that is something that could be up for debate, but also a lot of these guys who are up for the athletic director position, don't short them. They're smart guys. Everyone who's watched UCF knows we're UC fast. They know how we run our offense. They know it's speedy. They know it's quick. If you're watching, you're paying attention. And I would hope as an athletic director, you would be watching. So I don't think we'll keep it in-house just because I feel like so rarely people do when they need a new AD. So I would like to see it. That would be a cool opportunity for him to have the potential to be the full-time athletic director, but I just don't see that happening.
Now, besides Brian White, is there any other athletic director that is even on your list that could be a good runner-up or backup option just in case Brian White does not come?
Honestly, this one is kind of out of left field, but Mike Hill, he is the athletic director of UNC Charlotte. He has had a lot of experience just being in the state of Florida, particularly at the University of Florida. He worked a lot in the athletic department with external affairs and the head of marketing. So I think just having that Florida tie would be a really good thing, and the experience, and I think that UCF is kind of a step up from UNC Charlotte. So it's still not a huge Power 5 school, but I think it's a step up from UNC Charlotte. And looking at some of the history, how he has done at UNC Charlotte, I think he has the potential to be successful here, but that would be kind of more of a risk. So
That's a main question for me. I'm looking at potential hires, and you read things online. They say UCF is the most intriguing job to coaches and ADs because they think they can come in and win right away, which UCF right now, again, we've said, is a top 25 football program. But would it be smart for UCF to hire an AD from, face it like it is or call it like it is, a lesser known school than UCF, not even a Power 5, a group of 5? Yes, we're looking at Mike Hill and UNC Charlotte, and they had a great football year this last year. But if we look at the whole body of work, do you think that he would be up for the challenge taking on as close to a Power 5 school as UCF is?
I mean, I would hope he would be up for the challenge. This is also just rumors. This is just talk. This is me just kind of pulling names. But UNC Charlotte, it is bigger than you think. I actually have some family that goes to school there. It's kind of the equivalent of like a tinier UCF of North Carolina. So I think he would know how to run it just because their dynamic is kind of similar to ours, except our football team is a lot better. Sorry, Charlotte fans.
I've never been 0-2 in any fantasy league of records that I've been in, and it ain't going to start this week, I promise you. Projections don't mean nothing. Come back next week when you catch another L, Nick, like you've been doubting my Nuggets, okay? just get ready to catch another L.
What you say? That you only meant well, 'cause you did. What you say? That it's all for the best, 'cause it is. What you say? That it's just what we need. You decided this. What you say? What did she say?
I am absolutely flabbergasted and shocked, frankly, that the Rams are the underdogs. I say the Rams win at +2.5. It's not even close. Bet the house on the Rams. The Bills lose this one. I don't know why. It confuses me. I don't know.
What you say? That you only meant well, 'cause you did. What you say? That it's all for the best.
The Astros are going to cry. They're going to lose in 4, and they're going to go home, and they're going to cry and think about what they've done.
What you say? That you only meant well, 'cause you did. What you say? That it's all for the best.
Okay, so that's wrong. And I'm going Marlins because why not? The fish don't lose in the postseason. Represent.
What you say? That you only meant well, 'cause you did. What you say? That it's all for the best.
Welcome back to Almost Game Day. Like we said, a bunch of stuff with UCF football that have to be solved, but that's stuff that'll come in the next couple of weeks and months. Let's get into some NFL football. NFL has been crazy. So you have the Super Bowl in a couple weeks, so we're so excited for that. But I really want to talk about Tom Brady. Tom Brady, listen, I'm a Patriots fan. I show no bias, though. I didn't want Tom Brady to do good this year. It was just a fact. I wanted Tom to play good, but I didn't want Tampa Bay going anywhere. I thought with all of those pieces that Tampa Bay had, I suspected it would take them a while to mesh. And by the time you get to the playoffs, it'd be over. You wouldn't be able to, beat a team like the Saints or the Packers. So you're getting through to the end, and of course, Tampa Bay plays the Washington football team in the round 1, right? Beats them. Then he plays New Orleans in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, and you're thinking, New Orleans beat them twice. They have no chance at winning. He beats them at home. He beats Drew Brees in probably his final year. Then he plays Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau, 27 degrees. He's been in Tampa. Tom Brady's been in Tampa. He hasn't been in Boston. Beats Aaron Rodgers. So we're looking at, is this the toughest run to a Super Bowl that Brady's ever had? I look at his past couple years, and I say the years from 2014 to 2019 out of his 6 Super Bowls were probably his toughest to date. So I'm looking at 2014. He beat the Ravens, the Colts, and probably one of the best defenses of all time, the Seattle Seahawks. Looking at that just alone, that's a tough road to go. 2016, Texans, Steelers, and then the Falcons, one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. And then you go to 2019, Chargers, Chiefs, Rams. That was a tough Super Bowl as well. But let's not kid ourselves here. This year, even though I don't want to say it, this year especially is the toughest Super Bowl run to date. And I can't even say it. Like, you're looking at the teams he's beat. Washington, 100% is probably a top 3 defense in the NFL. There's no question. Then you go into New Orleans. Everybody's Super Bowl pick. You look at all of the power rankings throughout. New Orleans beat the Bucs twice. In the Bucs in the playoffs, you have Tom Brady going in there and beats one of the best team in the NFL to date. Then you go into Green Bay and beat Aaron Rodgers, the MVP of the year. If Tom Brady beats Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, it would be the greatest run for a quarterback ever. He's already the greatest ever. But to go do that would just be something truly special that I don't think anybody could really comprehend. Bill Belichick right now is in his office trying to figure out how to make the Patriots a contender again. They're going through the list of quarterbacks because they need one. But Tom Brady just packed up his stuff from Boston and dipped all the way down to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay. When was the last time Tampa Bay was relevant? 2002? They got Jameis Winston, and the man threw as many touchdowns as he did interceptions. Tampa Bay was not even a sports city. But all of a sudden, all these teams in Tampa Bay are now winning. It's crazy to see, and it just shows you. It's not so much Tom Brady's playing. I'm going to bring up Okello Pena. I love bringing up Okello all the time. Okello, we were having a discussion before the Packers game, and he said, I think Aaron Rodgers is the greatest ever. He's the prototypical quarterback that you want. He can throw on the run. He can make the perfect pass. And I said Tom Brady. But after that game, Okello switched his mind. And it's because of leadership. It's because of a clutch gene. There is a thing as a clutch gene in football. And Tom Brady has that clutch gene. Aaron Rodgers, for as talented as he is probably, in my opinion, the best regular season quarterback we've ever seen. But you can't discredit the NFC Championship record. He's 1-4. He's won one NFC Championship. The last 2 years, he's lost both of them. This was his year. So if anybody is looking at Tom Brady and is saying he's just not it, I think we all need to get our eyes checked, because this man is clearly the greatest. And if he beats the Chiefs, I think he's probably more great in his sport than Michael Jordan was in the NBA. That's all I'm going to say on that. Now, there's been a lot of trade speculation with an up-and-coming superstar in Deshaun Watson. He's already a superstar. This guy clearly does not want to play for Houston anymore. It's very evident. He requested a trade. He is done with Houston. They've taken away all of his weapons. They've taken all his toys all away. DeAndre Hopkins is now with Arizona. All of their good receiver help is now gone. They traded them all. So Deshaun Watson requested a trade. It got announced that the Patriots, Panthers, Broncos, and Jets have made trade offers. So what I say to that, and when I look at those teams, I'm number one surprised the Colts aren't trying to go for him. They clearly want Matthew Stafford. The Jets have the best chance to win that trade offer. And I also thought the Dolphins should probably have a chance to get them too. But clearly they want to go with Tua, which that's kind of surprising, but who knows? Every week goes by, the Dolphins might want to make a trade. The Patriots, Nick Caserio is the new GM over in Houston. He was Bill's right-hand man in New England for 20-something years. Do not be surprised if Bill calls Nick up and says, hey, we need a quarterback. We'll give you a couple first-rounders and maybe, a defensive player, and you give us Deshaun Watson. Do I think it will happen? Absolutely not. Bill Belichick will not be giving up anywhere close to that many first-round picks. And there's so many quarterbacks out on the market. So we have no idea what these offers are. The Jets could easily be offering the second pick in the draft. We have no clue. But it'd be pretty interesting to see him go to the Patriots. The Patriots have the cap space. The Patriots can pay a guy like Hunter Henry to go at tight end. They can pay a guy like Allen Robinson coming from Chicago. So that alone can make it a really interesting notion for him to go to the Patriots. The Patriots would be the number 2 team in the AFC with just Deshaun Watson going there and getting a couple weapons. The Broncos, I just don't think they have the stuff to trade to them. The Broncos are in a position where they've got Drew Lock, and if you're going to go pay a quarterback, you're right up against the salary cap. The Broncos just don't have the cap space. The Panthers, they just paid Teddy Bridgewater a bunch of money. So that begs the question, did they make the right decision at quarterback? A bunch of these teams miss on a quarterback like that, and now they have to go pay Deshaun Watson, whose cap hit about $35 million. We have no idea where Deshaun Watson's going to go. But all we know is it's very clear that Deshaun wants out of Houston, and who can blame him? All right, that's it for the NFL. We've got one more segment. We're going to talk Bradley Beal with the NBA. What's going on with the Wizards? Robert Husby joins me up next on Almost Game Day. Come on back.
They things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay? Always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
Welcome back to Almost Game Day. Like I said, we're going to talk NBA, and there's a bunch of stories in the NBA, but there's one in particular that's just blowing the minds of NBA fans. That's Bradley Beal. This man literally is a perennial all-star. He didn't get selected to an all-star team last year, but the dude's stats are incredible. Just this season alone, 35.4 points per game, and he's shooting 48.1% from the floor. That, for every shot he's taking, he's making the next one. That's incredible. But you look at the team, and the Wizards are just riddled with no talent. They go get a guy like Russell Westbrook from Houston, make a trade John Wall. The fans in Washington loved John Wall, and they just traded him for a guy like Russell Westbrook. Everybody's saying the same thing about Russell Westbrook. Oh, he has the stats, but he only cares about himself. He doesn't make the people around him better. He wants to get the triple-doubles. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care if you're winning. He cares if he's winning. So Bradley Beal gets asked a question a couple days ago from a reporter saying, "Are you frustrated?" And he says, "Is the sky blue?" When an NBA player says that, you could just tell he's ready to go. It hasn't come out that he's requested a trade, but I would not be shocked nor surprised if in the next couple days Bradley Beal announces he's done, he's leaving. Now, the other question would be, will Washington trade him? Nobody knows. Washington, you're going to give up an all-star? Bradley Beal, your best player, just to trade somebody to play with Russell Westbrook? I don't think so. But you could just see it on his face every time he's playing a game. The dude just does not want to be in Washington. I don't know what else to say. What would you trade for Bradley Beal? Who would trade for Bradley Beal, and what would they give up? That's why I'm bringing on my good friend Robert Husby, host of HTF Bets. Robert, thank you so much for coming on. We're in a fantasy league together, and you actually have Bradley Beal, so I thought you'd be the perfect guest to bring on. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm happy to be back in studio. Thank God we're off of Zoom for now.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here, man. I'm happy to talk about Bradley Beal and clearly the mess that's going on in Washington right now.
I think that's a perfect word, Robert. Mess. Because it is a sheer mess. I can't remember the last time a superstar this big wanted out. I guess Anthony Davis, when he was in New Orleans, just kind of forced himself out. But nothing has come out about Bradley Beal requesting any form of a trade. Why do you think that is?
He could just be a little bit more loyal. Maybe he hasn't reached his breaking point yet. You know, he definitely signed the Supermax in Washington, so, I mean, he's got the money funneling into his pocket, so it's hard to feel too bad for him. But no, I mean, I think, you know, maybe he's just a little bit, hasn't reached that breaking point yet that other guys have, like Anthony Davis did with the Pelicans. You know, he'll be reaching his breaking point soon, though, because he is 27, right, and smack dab in the middle of his, you know, prime of his career, and I don't think he wants to waste too much more time. He's got a finite amount of time before he can switch teams and make a difference and make a push for a ring.
That's the thing. He needs to make a push for a ring. Like, the kid is just so incredible. His skills are unmatched. Every team he plays, he goes off against. Do you think, you know, all the problems before they traded John Wall, but do you think trading his, you know, good friend and John Wall is just making this even worse when he's playing with a guy like Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we know Russ. Russ is a selfish guy. The cat's out of the bag with him. He's a very me-first player. It didn't work in OKC. He lost Durant and Harden. He went to Houston last year. Didn't work out with Harden again. And now he's in Washington, and it's not working out. Russ is not playing the way he usually is. He's, you know, a little bit past his prime now. He's 32. You know, he's starting to reach the twilight years. His athleticism definitely, which is his biggest asset, has definitely taken a bit of a hit this year. And yeah, I mean, I think definitely John Wall had a huge influence on that dressing room. It was his team. Now it's Bradley Beal's team. Obviously, Wall hurt a lot over the past few years of his career, but he's having himself a good season in Houston. So, definitely I think Washington is missing that veteran presence, and they're not getting that with Russ. You can't build a team around that guy anymore.
Yeah, I think Washington tried so hard to make something work for Bradley Beal. They make a trade. They make a trade for a guy like Russ, who, by all accounts, is a top 10 NBA player. But it's about what works for a team. And right now, clearly, the players playing alongside them are just not it. Their best player alongside them two is Davis Bertans. So what can the Wizards do, in your opinion, to make Bradley Beal happy, or is it, too late?
Oh man, see, that's the $1 million question. Ideally you go out and you get a second or third star, however you rank Russ at this point. Russ can kind of be the number 3 at this point because he's not playing like a number 2. So you're going to have to go and give up draft capital. You're going to have to spend more money. I don't know what the Wizards' cap situation is offhand, but they're going to have to go and get a guy that can make a difference, that can make more of a difference than Russell Westbrook has. Otherwise, no, they're going to have to really entertain offers. I don't know who in the league can really afford Bradley Beal. In the past we've talked about the Miami Heat, but God only knows you're going to have to give up King's ransom for Bradley Beal. Anthony Davis got multiple first-round picks, got Lonzo, got Josh Hart. Obviously worked really well for the Lakers, but Wizards are going to have to command a deal similar to that. Multiple first-round picks, some good prospects, and they're going to have to really entertain some offers. Just depending on where Beal is, where his mindset is. If he's really that frustrated, does he want out, or does he want to stay and make it work? And they're going to have to work with him to see where they can get that going.
Now that's my next question. Beal leaves, right? Say Beal says, I want out of Washington. I want you to trade me. I know we talked about the Miami Heat, and there's some players they can give up for him. But besides Miami Heat, do you see any other team that would make a big splash to go get this guy?
Oh man, you see, that's hard because you have to look at the cap situations. I mean, maybe some the Knicks. The Knicks are they're not really competitive. They're doing better this season, but they probably have the cap space. They probably have the draft capital to go get a guy like that. I don't know if he wants to play with the New York Knicks, but definitely he might be in a better situation there considering where they are right now. I don't think Golden State, that's another rebuilding team really. If Golden State gives up Wiggins, I don't know where they would be financially. Wiggins would have to be in that deal. I know they're looking for a number 3 when Klay comes back. So, Beal might be that guy, but it's so hard to say because you have to look at the cap situations of each team. It's not going to be Brooklyn. It's not going to be the Lakers. It's not going to be Milwaukee. You're looking at one of these bubble teams that need to get a bigger star in or a number 2 in to make a difference.
It's a definitely intriguing situation. He's on your fantasy team, so I think you're probably hoping he stays. But, Rob, anyway, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you, everybody, for watching. It's been a real pleasure. We're going to be in the studio, hopefully every week, so the shows are only going to get better. I appreciate you tuning in. If you haven't already, please follow all of us on socials. Mine's at Sean M.R. Green and then at Hitting the Field on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube page. We post content every single day, so you're getting something every single day to watch and get your sports knowledge better. Thank you for tuning in. My name's Sean Green. This has been Almost Game Day. Have a good day.
Trying to find a kid, I'm in a field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000.